Hello everyone, it's Lindsay from the Vintage Button, a junk journal and a slow stitch, and today I'm slow stitching. Well, it's actually Sunday when this video will go out, so it'll be a slow stitch Sunday. I want to show you the progress I have on my panel that I got from my great grandmother-in-law back in Cape Town some 15 years ago. And you can see it's got some like rust staining that I didn't really want to put any harsh chemicals on it, so it just is what it is. It shows its age actually. So there we go. I've kind of started on filling in the dresses. We've got lots of little sort of French knots, kind of shorter, just one loop over rather than the two loops over to make a really short knot. Although you can see where I've forgotten and I've done two. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. This is about just relaxing and enjoying my stitching, really. And I think at the end, I was like, am I going to put it on a cushion? I think I'm actually going to frame it. I don't know. I still haven't decided. But I am really enjoying it. So I thought I would do another stitch with you. This is a Lazy Daisy. I'm sure everybody knows Lazy Daisy stitches, but just in case you don't, we're going to do some Lazy Daisies. I'm using the Lazy Daisy stitch not to make a flower in this instance. I'm getting all tangled up. The back of my stitching is terrible, but I'm not going for any sort of perfection here. So I've used my Lazy Daisy stitches up here. Will it focus? To sort of make my little leaves, and then I've done some like chunky French knots to be the roses around the outside, and it's just going to be really pretty. I think I might do a chain stitch on this border and choose a colour. I'm thinking that dark green to do a chain stitch. We'll see. I could even do a chain stitch and then like a back stitch on either side of it. I think that might be nice. And then I'm going to do a blanket stitch around the edge to finish it off. And then I don't know what I'm going to do. I might sort of whip stitch it onto a piece of canvas and then frame it. I do have a frame lurking in the craft room that's a vintage frame that I bought for pennies that would go in, that it would sort of go in really. And then I don't know where I'm going to put it. Which wall I'll put it on, but there we go. I don't know. I'm thinking, where would I put it? Where would be a good room? I want to do a gallery wall up my stairs. It could be the beginnings of the gallery wall. There we go. I'm not wording very well. So Lazy Daisy is a really simple stitch. Bring your thread out. So, and at the point of wherever you do it. Now, sometimes I've done it the other way around because I'm not really thinking what I'm doing. Do you know what? It all looks fine. So, bring your point out and then get your thread behind you. Go back into that hole. Now, if you just pulled it, it would just pull out. But we're going to do more than that. So pull it some way, make sure it's all even. I'm using because I use my vintage threads that I don't use the proper stuff. Do you know what? It's alright. You don't have to use the proper stuff. We are slow stitchers. I think I've said before that like the difference between a slow stitcher and like an embroiderer is like the difference between a chef and a home cook. So that's basically what we are. If you're a slow stitcher, you're a home cook. So you've got your kind of loop because you've gone back in. Now you're going to come where you want your point to be and bring your needle up. If you want to feel safe, put your thread over. I don't generally do that. I kind of wait until, but I can do it this way. Then you pull it, make your shape of a leaf. There we go, shape of our leaf. And then just put another little stitch in to secure it in place. And that's a Lazy Daisy. Now if you went all around in a circle, you would make a flower. And they're great for sort of filling in a little hole. I was saying the other day, I've been working on a journal, because I junk journal as well. I was working on a journal and I saw one of the stamps that I was using. It was a really useful exercise because I was using stuff I'd never even used, and I'd had it for years. But what I was saying is, I've discovered some new sort of slow stitching stamps that I could sort of make pictures with. And I think I'm going to have a go at making some of my own vignettes using the stamps that I have. I like the idea of like a sky background and then a field of daisies, and there would be big daisies and little daisies, and this stitch would work perfectly for it. So I'm quite excited about that. I don't know when I'll do it. It's just going to go in my list of ideas. So we've got our loop again. We're going to come back up where we need to, where we want that leaf to finish. Come back all the way through, put it over our hoop. However way we do it, it doesn't matter. Pull it down, and there we go. We can then put our extra little loop in, and we've got another leaf shape. And I'm just going to keep going. I'll keep you with me, but I'm just going to keep going. Now I've done it at various stages. You'll notice I've done a back stitch here. That's just, excuse my fingernails. I've been doing DIY and stuff in the house and my hands are wrecked. I've done some back stitch, and then I've just been adding the little leaves and other little stems as I've been going. And I've been doing the French knots, and I've done it in all different kinds of orders. You know, French knots first, I can do the leaves first, I could do the vine first. It doesn't matter. It's all about what you feel would work, and I think it's about the flow, where your mind's taking you. It's a very mindful thing, and it is slow, so it's up to you how you do it. So let's do our point again, and I'm wasting cotton because I should just go up, but there's no shoulds. No shoulds. I don't do shoulds. So we're going to go like that, put our string behind us, go back in. We'll revisit, like I said, a lazy daisy, but other things. I do actually think you don't need any of these stitches. You could just get away with back stitching and run a stitch, like a little straight stitch in slow stitching. You don't need all of these. It's just that this little panel lends itself to it, and I thought, well, if I'm doing it, I may as well show everybody else. So, where did I learn I should do a lazy daisy? I think it must have been at school, because my mum wasn't an embroiderer. She's very much a machine sewist. I think it must have been at school, and we had a lesson called textiles, which would have been in year 8. I know what that year would have been now, but I can't remember what that year was called when it was me. It's because I've just had a child go through secondary school. It would have been year 8 because it was the year before you did your options to choose which courses you wanted to do for your GCSEs in the UK. And there was like home economics and textiles were sort of in a rotation. So like half a year you did textiles, half a year you did home ec. And you did baking in home ec, basically. And then textiles, you did stitching. And some of it was quite good, actually. I'd almost took a GCSE in textiles, but I didn't. I did art instead. So, yeah. That's where my stitches are coming from. So we're locking it in. There we go. I do remember the textile lady was called Mrs. Bond. I think she did home ec as well. And you know, it's strange that when I worked in Cambridge, there was a lady called Angela who used to come to some of my community groups. I used to run all kinds of community groups before the pandemic, and I got made redundant. That was 2 jobs ago, but I really enjoyed it. I kind of get some of the vibe from that job through this YouTube channel, so it's quite, you know, it's kind of scratching an itch. And one of the ladies who used to come to one of my groups, I had a group on a Tuesday morning called Craft Cafe, because it was based in a cafe. And she was a retired home ec teacher, so she could do cooking, and she used to help me out, actually. There was another another group that I used to do that was called, what am I doing? I'm going back in this, called Phil's People, which was a mental health group that we had every month, and people used to come and have a meal and we'd cook it together, and she was one of my cooks that would be like in charge of the kitchen as we all cooked our meal together. It was quite a cool group. And she used to come to Craft Cafe, Angela, and she was always doing these amazing stitcheries, and it just used to, I thought, oh, not at all like Mrs. Bond, but it was a nice vibe. So there we go. But yeah, I didn't take home economics. I took art because I really resonated with the art teacher. I think that's probably... I didn't really resonate with Mrs. Bond. So Miss Turner. I liked Miss Turner. In fact, I saw Miss Turner. It was a couple of years ago. I went to visit my mum, and we were in Home Bargains. Now, if you're British, you'll know what I mean by Home Bargains. It's like a cheap shop, I guess. Like, I don't know what the equivalent would be in other countries. I think in America, because we get exposed to a lot of like American media, it would be sort of like a Dollar General. So it's not quite like everything's a dollar, but you know, like a cheap shop or Five Below or something like that. Yeah. So Miss Turner was a lovely lady, and we were walking around the shop, and this woman kept looking at us, and I kept looking at her, and I'm walking around, and my mum, who like knows everything and everybody, she's like, do you not know who that is? I'm like, no, who's that woman who keeps looking at us? And she says, that's Miss Turner. I was like, oh really? So we were walking round, and then when it came to checking out, I kind of went out to the car and I just said hello to her, and I sort of said I wish I'd done art, because that is the kind of, I don't have many woulda, shoulda, coulda, but actually I don't. I wish I could still do art. I don't know. What am I doing? I came out in the wrong way. See, look, chatting, come out the wrong way. It's absolutely fine. We'll do it this way. We'll do it this way. Or did I not do it the right way? I don't know. I'm chatting. Yeah. So I have a funny story even about my art GCSE. So doing my art GCSE, thing is that my dad died. So this is not the funny story, but it is the context. My dad died just before all of my exams. He died in the Easter, before the exams are taken in the summer. So like, let's just say I wasn't really thinking about things. And I had a friend who equally had her own thing going on, and she didn't really do a lot of thinking about things. And that meant that we didn't really go to school very often, actually, for that last final 2 years of GCSEs. I'm amazed I came out with anything. So when it came to the art exam, I deliberately planned it so I could finish it really quickly. Like, it wasn't even my vibe of the thing that I did. I still got a B, so I don't know what that says about either my artistic prowess or the GCSE at that time, because I know that my daughter's doing A-level and her stuff is amazing, and her GCSE stuff, like, she was painting realistic pictures, portraits of, you know, like she takes a photograph and it looks like the photograph. There's no way my art is nothing like that. I did abstracts of barcodes. So, and I knew I could do it really quickly. I was like, yeah, that's abstract, it's art. I kind of, you know, made a rationale for it. I'm going to do that. Because I knew there was a band. I used to like going, listening to bands, kind of like, in student union bars in universities. And we planned, me and my friend Joanne, that we were going to go and watch this band. And that meant we had to leave school early so that we could catch the train to Liverpool. And that meant leaving an exam early. So I'd finished mine. I knew that I could finish mine. But obviously home economics is a little bit different. So, you know what? We all make our own decisions. And I remember I finished and I just sort of said to Miss Turner, yeah, I'm going now. And she kind of I think was very understanding of where I was at. So I was like, oh, okay, like, have you done everything? Yeah, I've done everything. And she sort of like let me go. But Mrs. Bond was not happy with Joanne, because Joanne, the art department was downstairs and the home ec was upstairs. And I remember I said, oh, we'll meet you on the bridge corridor, which kind of like is halfway in between. I'll meet you on the bridge corridor at such a time. And so I was there waiting for her, and Joanne was just sort of storming down these stairs, and Mrs. Bond was coming after her, shouting her head off, get back, you haven't finished. Oh, I think she had finished, but she was meant to wait or something. And I was like, well, do you not think, because I wasn't really a bad girl. I was like, do you not think we should go out? No, let's just go. And we went to Liverpool. We watched a band. Can't remember what the band was called. There we go. So, my misadventures of a teenage years. I don't know. It's a very different time compared to today. So, back to lazy daisying. If you've not done it, do it. Let me know if you've done a lazy daisy. And it can be a skill you can add to your repertoire. I can remember Mrs. Bond. Oh, Mrs. Bond. There we go. So, I've also been having thoughts about the slowness of like crafting and finding your resources and all of that. And there's going to be a few bits and pieces that are coming up. And I kind of want to weave it all the way in, this kind of slowness. There will be Junk Journal of January's coming up, and that's definitely going to have this sort of slow, unhurried vibe. With lots of kind of like guided meditation bits if you're into that sort of thing, and some kind of inspirational sentiments to it basically. And I want that to carry on. Well, I want that to start now, really. That's kind of, the whole point of my creative endeavours. It's because I feel I need to do it, because I am a creative soul. But also it's like incredibly helpful for my mental health. Like, it is life-saving, I think, for myself. And I suspect for other people too. So I just want to encourage that and, honour it. Because I think it should be honoured that it's a serious thing. It's also a playful thing. All things, several things can be true at once. That's absolutely fine. So here we are, some more lazy daisies. Should we do one more if you're still with me? 20 minutes in or 18 minutes in. There we go, we've just finished that one off. So out, back in the way you came. No, don't get your raggedy nails because of all the DIY you've been doing. Get caught up. Pull that through. Come back up where you want your point to be. Catch your loop. There we go. A lazy daisy. So, lazy daisy leaves. A story about my misadventures of a 16-year-old. There are other stories about misadventures of a 16-year-old. I probably will tell. I'll be telling tales on anybody. But I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have. I will be talking to you tomorrow with a mindful make. We're going to follow on with the little birdies. We're going to make nests for them. and just put them in our stash and have a nice mindful moment while we're doing it. It'll be on that theme of slowness and letting things grow and all of that jazz. So there we go. I'm going to carry on, keep working on my little panel. I think we might just have a general stitch along as I'm doing the dresses and stuff, filling bits and pieces in. But it's very nearly there. Oh, and we're going to do that chain stitch. Yeah, we'll do that chain stitch as a have a go at your stitches. I know some people do like a little sampler, don't they? They do, oh, this is a chain stitch, this is and that might be an idea to do. That might be an idea to do. All right then, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget all the little bell subscribe things. Help my little channel grow. All right then, bye-bye.